Pretty cool game, right? If only that was the case while making it.
Why? Go down. Go down. What? How?
Hello, darkness.
Let us start from the beginning. Until now, I've only made 2D games. I think it's finally time for me to make a 3D game, but there is one problem. I know jack shit about Blender, so what do we do? I know pixel art, at least how to use it, and I can make a cube. Okay, that's helpful, but now what? Pixel art, cool. Okay, guess we are making a new clone. I am sure nothing will go wrong. Ah, okay, it's not like there were no tutorials available, it's just that they were either for older versions of Godot, or if not, they were surface level at best. Nevertheless, I found these to be pretty useful in making this game, so I would recommend you to give them a look. Anyway, prerequisites aside, let's get started. For any game, stuff like sprites and sounds are some of its base assets. So now, the question is, where do we acquire these assets from? Over the years, Doom has had many mods created for it, and luckily, these mods are free for non-commercial uses. Even more luckily, fans have coagulated these mods in various websites. Realm 667 is one such website. So, here we can get whatever sound or sprite we need. Just click download and... What? Okay, I will not go into details what a what is. Just know that if you download this X Factor and... Okay, now that we have a way of acquiring assets, the next question is, what assets do we even need? Our player will have 3 main weapons. 1, a fist, because you can always punch those demons away. 2nd, a pistol, because it is a shooter after all. Next, a shotgun, because a shotgun. Now it's time to decide who will be the victims of these said weapons. First, I wanted a melee type of enemy, but not one of those generic punchy fisty type.
Nice.
A literal walking kamikaze aside, next we will have a shooter type of enemy for our shooter game, and finally an enemy that can do both melee attacks and range attack. But all of these characters would need some ground to walk onto. So, moving on to... Okay, I will keep this short. I mainly needed 3 types of textures for designing my environment, one for the ceiling, one for the wall, and one for the floors, with 3 variations on each of these categories. Next, I wanted some hazardous environments. For that, I picked 3 types of water floors that does damage to us when we stand on them, one that does no damage, one that does mild damage, and lastly... Okay, so I will not go into details of what I coded for this game because code is boring and everyone hates boring stuff. I will just share you the logic of my code instead. First, let's talk about the player movement. First, I recorded the mouse's movement and made the player look at it each frame to get its rotation relative to the y-axis. Next, I made the player move according to the WASD keys with its now current forward vector. Next, to facilitate the shooter aspect of the game, I made each weapon have its own scanner box, which scans for all the enemies inside it and shoots at the nearest one. With the player done, let's talk about enemies. Each enemy would be initially in their rest state, where they would only detect the player if they're either in front of them or very near to them. Once detected, the enemy would enter their chase state. Once in the chase state, the enemy will chase after the player, either directly behind or at a deviation of a certain angle that is randomly chosen between 0 to 45 degrees. This cycle of changing the movement direction happens every 60 frames until unless the player either exits the sight box, causing the enemy to once again go back to resting state, or if the player enters the enemy's attacking range, causing the enemy to go to its attacking state, which for our bomber is for our shooter to shoot at us, and for the demon to either shoot at us or scratch us based on the distance we are from it. So once the attack is done, the enemy goes back to its chase state, where it chases the player again for 60 frames, before deciding to do whatever at that particular point of time. When the enemy is in their idle or chase state, we can always shoot at them to make them move to their Payne state, causing the enemy to flinch, take damage, and chase after us, all except for the bomber. Once enough damage has been dealt, the enemy goes and enters their death. Okay, I do not know what to say here. I mean, I made the rough draft of my level on paper, but then what? I did not know how to create levels on Godot, and to be fair, I still do not know how to do them. I mean, I looked at a bunch of plugins and add-ons for Godot, like Cyclops, Qdot, but none of them seemed to work for me. So in the end, I just stuck with the plain old CSG and made my whole level with it. But god, that was painful. Anyway, if you have made this far into the video, I request you to tell me your recommendations for making 3D levels, because this was tough. Anyway, with this, the game is complete. If you want me to tell you how I made the level for this game in a design or technical sense, just tell me the same in the comments below. And if you want to check the game out for yourself, the link is in the description.